Here we have Joe Biden extolling the virtues of capitalism, which, I mean, again, that's not surprising. But again, I think what actually he is doing here is pretty accurate. He's talking about how capitalism is alive and very well. So it says, quote, "It turns out capitalism is alive and very well. We're making serious progress to ensure that it works the way it's supposed to work for the good of the American people." So it was accurate up until that last part. I should say for the good of the, capitalist class, for the good of the corporations, for the good of the oligarchy. But up until that, he was very, very on point. So let's listen to him trying to, defend this decaying, dying economic structure. Again, capitalism is based on generating profit. It's not based around making sure the needs of the people are met, whether that be for healthcare, education, housing, mental health, etc. It's all about making money. It's all about, continually making more money, generating more profit, using up the earth's resources, exploiting people infinitely. Again, it's a system based on infinite growth on a finite planet.
And now the forecasters have doubled their projections for growth this year in the economy to 7% or higher.
But again, what is that? That doesn't really mean anything. Okay, that means the people at the very top of this Ponzi scheme, this pyramid scheme, where the wealth trickles down to them and everybody gets maybe pissed on. Oh, it's rain. No, it's actually you're getting pissed on. Nothing's really trickling down to the people at the bottom. Okay, the economy is doing good, but what does that mean for the working class? What does that mean for the most vulnerable and marginalized? They're not going to be the ones reaping those gains. I mean, for fuck's sake, he had a chance. He could have very easily passed minimum wage. He could have raised minimum wage. Hasn't been since like 2000, early 2000s, and $15 again. That's not even a living wage. I mean, fuck.
In fact, the U.S. is the only developed country in the world where growth projections today are stronger than they were before the pandemic.
And yet we can't get universal health care during a pandemic. We can't get him to cancel student loan debt, which he could do with the swipe of a pen. And again, that would impact the most vulnerable and marginalized groups and communities disproportionately more positively. He's not for that, but he's for all these platitudes. The economy is doing good. We're seeing growth while actually not, doing anything to help out, the people.
Kid. At the same time, companies across the country are giving workers a raise. Unusual thing. And the number of new unemployment claims has been cut by more than half since I took office. And by the way, 2 weeks ago, I issued a major executive order promoting fair and open competition, which is the cornerstone of American capitalism.
What in the fair and open competition is the cornerstone of American capitalism? No, it's not. The cornerstone of American capitalism, the cornerstone of capitalism anywhere where it exists, is the exploitation of workers, their surplus value that they create through their labor being exploited by the capitalist class so they can enrich themselves. Jeff Bezos, great point. He obviously, didn't generate all of that wealth the workers did, and then he siphoned that from them so he could, waste billions of dollars on his little vanity trip. I guess not all the way to outer space, wherever the fuck he went. I wish he would have stayed up there on his little, penis mobile thing. I mean, Jesus Christ. And then, it's again very revealing, like, the United States government, the U.S. empire, tries to, basically kill any type of socialist movement, any type of socialist government around the globe. Cuba is a great example. just imagine how much higher the quality of life would be there if the embargo wasn't in place. And again, what the embargo means, it's important to recognize this, is that Cuba can't trade with the United States. They can't get anything from the United States. We can't send things to the Cuban people or to the Cuban government there. And it also means that any business within the U.S. or, in other countries abroad that does business with the U.S., they can't do business with Cuba. So it's really stifling the economy there, because we can't let, socialism survive and thrive so close to the U.S. mainland, because people in the United States might start waking up and demanding more from their government. Because again, people in Cuba have universal health care. They don't have to worry about going bankrupt when they get sick. They have universal education, so they don't have to take on tens of thousands of dollars of debt to get an education, to better themselves, to get a better job. You have to do that in the U.S. Notice that's never really called out in the corporate media when we're talking about Cuba. Of course it's not going to be, but...
Non-compete clauses that suppress workers' wages, lowering the price of things like hearing aids, prescription drugs, internet service, along with dozens of other actions. Folks, it turns out capitalism is alive and very well.
And what he means by alive and very well, full-time minimum wage workers can't afford rent anywhere in the U.S. according to new report. Again, this came out just a little short of a week ago. That's what he means. Capitalism is alive and well. I would say hopefully late stage capitalism at this point in the U.S., but Jesus Christ. The report defines affordability as the hourly wage a full-time worker must earn to spend no more than 30%, which again, if you're spending more than that, that's a fucking huge percentage of your take-home income. They would need to earn $24 an hour for a 2-room bedroom and $20 for a 1-bedroom rental. That's an increase from... So it's almost went up $1 respectively for each of those. And again, that's why I was saying $15 an hour is not living wage in any part of the United States. And, if minimum wage had kept up with productivity, it would be somewhere around that range, which obviously would make a whole lot more sense. So when he says capitalism is alive and well, he's right. These, corporations, their, stockholders, their board of directors are able to extract a massive amount of, wealth and income, while, the toiling masses are paid starvation wages. We also have close to probably 30 million people in the United States without health care. So they don't have people in Cuba going bankrupt when they get sick. They don't have tens of thousands of people dying each year in Cuba because they don't have health care. We sure as hell have that in the United States, though, don't we? We also have the world's highest prison population. We have about 25%, in fact, of the world's prison population, but we're the land of the free. And again, that's due in large part, prison is a form of social control. It's also, hugely racist and white supremacist at its core. And it's also a profit generating mechanism through prison labor, through, privatizing, prison phone calls, private prisons, detention centers, etc. And then, Joe Biden saying capitalism is alive and well. Here it is. 3 men own as much as the bottom half of Americans. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. That's capitalism alive and well. 3 people own as much as the bottom half of Americans. What is that? 150, 170 million, somewhere in there. So 3 people, just think about that, just how completely disgusting that is. 3 people own more than 150 million people in the United States. 3 people's wealth, these rapacious oligarchs own more than 100 plus million people. Like, capitalism is alive and well. Joe Biden's right. That's exactly what it's designed to do. The capitalist class, the very small, oligarchy that controls government, media, etc., is able to generate massive amounts of wealth for themselves while everybody else is fighting over the crumbs at best. It's alive and well, though. He's right.
We're making serious progress to ensure that it works the way it's supposed to work.
And this is the way it's supposed to work. A very small minority at the top reaps all of the benefits from exploiting the labor of the workers, where they extract the surplus labor value from them. That type of exploitation is inherent to capitalism. If you actually want a system where the needs of the many will get placed before the needs of the few, that would be socialism, and then transitioning towards communism. Again, socialism is the lower form of communism. So what we have, right now is a dictatorship of the capitalist class. What we need is a dictatorship of the proletariat. Turn the current equation on its head. And obviously, Joe Biden isn't talking about that. He's saying things are working so well right now. We just got to do these little tweaks and it will work even better. Kumbaya, capitalism. Capitalism's great. It's so great, in fact, that we have to try to stifle any type of socialist movement within the United States and abroad, because capitalism's so great.
For the good of the American people. So for all those predictions of doom and gloom 6 months in, here's where we stand. Record growth.
But again, record growth. Who is getting those benefits? It's the corporations. It's the very wealthy people at the top. It's not the workers. For fuck's sake. Full-time minimum wage workers can't afford rent anywhere in the U.S., according to a new report. Joe Biden could have raised the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. It's better than what it is right now. What is it? $7.25 federal minimum wage. But we had to listen to the unelected parliamentarian. I mean, because he didn't really want to pass it. That's why they did that.
Job
obviously.
Creation. Workers getting hard-earned.
Again, what kind of jobs are being created? What kind of wages? Now, obviously not fucking living wage jobs when full-time men workers can't afford rent anywhere in the United States, Joe Biden. Jesus Christ.
Breaks. Look, we brought this economy back from the brink.
Well, you shouldn't have brought it back from the brink. Capitalism is a system that is designed to create wealth, to create profit for the capitalist class, to enrich the very wealthy, the very powerful, while everybody else is fighting for crumbs at best. Whereas a socialist system would be creating a system that supports the needs and advantages the working people, because they are the vast majority, and so they should be getting the vast majority of wealth and income from any type of money that is generated. But again, you need to have a fully socialist system, as Caleb Maupin pointed out. I just came across him yesterday. I saw his interview with Jackson Hinkle. Actually just ordered his book about breadtune, which I'm excited to get. But anyways, he points out you can't have profit in a socialist system. That's capitalism. You need to get rid of the profit motive to have a planned economy, to make sure the needs of the people are being met, so we're not just continually trying to seek and increase profit, because profit leads to exploitation. It is exploitation, whether it be of the people or the environment or both domestically and abroad.
Temporary boost, but to lay the foundation for a long-term boom that brings everyone along.
That shit don't happen, man. That's a fucking myth. I mean, Jesus Christ. So stupid. Capitalism, man. Capitalism is though. I mean, people get it though. Yeah, I mean this point for sure. I mean, again, if you have to come out and say like how good the system is doing, it's obviously failing completely, because if it was doing so good, you wouldn't need to go out there and brag about it. You would let the system, if it's, meeting everybody's needs, if everybody's has such a high standard of living, people are getting these great jobs, wages are increasing, etc., etc., you wouldn't have to go out there and try to talk it up like he's doing. Again, this person nails it on the head. The fact that the U.S. president has to assure people that capitalism is alive and very well means that there is widespread knowledge that the system is failing as a whole. These are the words of empire trying to convince us they're still strong when in fact it's sinking. Correct. Capitalism, yeah. 8 million die from lack of clean water. 765 million die of hunger. 3 million die from curable disease. 500 die from malaria. In other words, 20 million easily preventable deaths annually. Capitalism kills more than that every 5 years. Know the real enemy. Yep, capitalism is the virus. Completely agree. Joe fixed it. I don't know, man. Sounds like everything's going pretty bad. Yeah. Capital is dead labor, which vampire lives only by sucking living labor and the lives more. The labor it sucks. Yeah. Mr. Marx, prescient as always, but again, he is right. Biden is right in a sense. It is alive and well. It's working how it's intended, to enrich a very small minority at the top. And obviously I'm talking in the numerical sense, not, ethnicity or along racial lines. Designed to enrich a very small number of people at the very top of this, pyramid scheme, while everybody else gets nothing, while people don't have health care, while we have hundreds of thousands who are homeless, where we have massive amount of student loan debt, we have wealth and income inequality, especially along racial and ethnic lines, etc., etc. Capitalism is the virus, and if it was so good, he wouldn't have to go out there and try to brag it up, as that person pointed out. Like the video if you like the damn video. Subscribe for more content. Help me get to 1,000 subs. That would be awesome. 500 to start. Peace. Much love. I'll